If you own a website as a business owner or as a freelancer, then you would want to collect your visitors' contact information so that you can use it to reach out to them for marketing purposes. For this reason, you'll need a form on your website where visitors can come and fill in their names and fill in their email addresses, give you their consent for you to contact them, and you can use this to reach out to them with your new products or when you are making an announcement or whatever marketing messages that you want to send to them. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you two very important plugins that will help you create customized forms that you can use to collect your visitors' email address, phone numbers, names, and any other details that you want. These two plugins contain form fields that you can use to collect whatsoever data you want from your website visitors. As long as they give you consent, then you can use that form to process whatsoever information and go ahead with the business you wanted to do with them. So if you're a business owner or a freelancer, it is really important that you have this functionality on your website because it will help a long way in your marketing material. And if this sounds like what you want to do, then watch this tutorial till the end because you are going to get a lot of value from it. Hello guys, I am Don John and this is a Primer System tutorial. If this is your first time of watching our tutorials, do well to subscribe to this channel and also turn on the bell notification icon so that you can get every of our subsequent tutorials and you get to watch them as soon as we post them. Also, like this video, share it so that other people that are like you that also need this kind of information can get to see this thing. In fact, this is the only thing you can do to help me to continue to put out good tutorials that are beneficial to people just like this. And lastly, leave a comment at the comment section at any kind of tutorial you want us to create that you think is going to help you in your digital marketing or business growth journey, and we will do just that. So let's begin. Today we are going to be looking at two plugins. The first one is called wpforms and the second one is called wpforms. We will be showing you how to customize this form so that you can use it to achieve any purpose, any goal that you have for your marketing campaigns. So let me take you to our screen and let's begin this. To install these plugins, I'm going to log into my WordPress admin panel, and to do this I'm going to type in my URL, then I'll add a /, then I'll do WordPress-admin, then I'll hit enter. Here I'm going to provide my username and password, then I'll click on login to gain access to my WordPress admin panel. Okay guys, this is the back end of my website. This is my dashboard, so I'm going to move over to where I have plugins, and I'll also go to where I have add new plugin. Here I'll go to search for plugins and I'll type in the name of the plugins that I want to install. The first one is wpforms. Alright, this is it. This is wpforms contact form. I'm going to head over to where I have install now and I'll click on this button. Alright, it is installed. I'm not going to activate it just yet. I'll do the second one. I'll go over here once again and I'll type in wpforms. Okay guys, this is the second plugin, contact form by wpforms. I'll also install this. This is done now, so I'll have to head over to activate both of them. I'll come here to where I have installed plugin, and this is it. These are the two forms, wpforms and wpforms. I'll simply check on both of them, come to where I have bulk actions, come to where I have activate, and I'll click on apply. Now both of them are activated. You can now see that what we have here is now deactivate. So both of them are now activated. Alright, so let's get started with this one, wpforms Lite. Okay guys, the next thing we are going to do is to come to where we have wpforms. Here we have add new forms. We are going to click on this. So this is it. The first thing is saying for you to enter the name of your form. So the name is basically for you to use to distinguish between the different forms and their different purposes. So we are going to type in here homepage contact form. So having done that, we'll move on to the next one that says select a template. So here you can use a blank form or you can use a template that they have already put in some fields for you depending on what you want to use it for. So you can see this template here is really a simple interface. You have the name, the email, and then you have the message. You also have the submit button, so you can scroll up and you can choose any other one that you want. There are several templates here, but we are not going to use all of that. We are going to start from a blank form so that we can see how to customize these things. I'll click on create a blank form. Okay guys, so this is the interface we are being presented with. So we are going to look at this side, okay, the extreme left of the screen, and here we have setup, we have fields. That's where we are now. As you can see, that's why it's being highlighted. Then we have the settings, we have marketing and payments. So marketing and payments will only apply to those that are using the pro version. For us, we are only interested in the fields and the settings. So after that, we are going to come over to this second panel here. We have the add field tab and then the field option. We are going to be using both of this, and under the add fields tab we have all these fields that we can add. And if you scroll down, you can see a whole lot more fields. Some are here. The ones that are not highlighted means you cannot use them except you are using the pro version. But believe me, all those fields that are here are more than enough for you as a beginner. Usually when you are starting a form, you want to start with your name. So we'll come to where we have the name and we'll just drag it and drop it here. So there you can see the name, and it comes in this form name. It has the first name and the last name. The next thing we want to add is the email address. So you can drag this and put it right here, and voila, your email field is added. Depending on what you want to use the form for, you can add any of this, and I'll do my best to add as many as I can. The next one I want to add is the number, in case you want to collect the phone numbers. Okay, as you can see, the number has come before the email address. So I'll simply drag this down and you can see that it has been rearranged in the order that I want. The next one is the drop down. I'll drag the drop down and put it right under the numbers. Okay, just like before, it is coming before the numbers, so I'll simply drag it down here. Then we have the checkboxes. You include that. Don't worry, we are going to customize this. Let's just be adding the fields first. We have the multiple choice. We have the single line text. And then we have the paragraph text. You also have the number slider. You can drag this as well in case you want to make use of the number slider. Okay guys, so I think we have added enough. So let's begin to customize them. I'll scroll back up. This is the name. I'll come to where we have click to edit and I'll click on it. You can also click anywhere on the form field. Okay, so when you click on that, it takes us to the field options. Remember, we have add fields tab. So if you select this, it will now take you to the field options where you can customize this particular form field. Okay, so the first thing you have here is the label, and if you point to this, it's going to give you more information on that label. Now for our label here, it is called the name, and this is it. Okay, that's the name. So here you can see that you have the name here with the asterisk, which means it is compulsory that you must fill this particular field. And then you also have the first and the last. Okay, so you can change this. All right, so you can change this to whatever you want. I'll simply change this to your name here. That's just what I want to write. And then I'll come to this arrow, click on this. This says first and last. The next one says first, middle, and last. So if you select this one, you can see it now has 3 fields for the name. So you want to collect the first, the last, and the middle. Okay, and you can also choose the simple, which will only make room for just one name. Okay, usually what I'd advise here is just leave it at one name, because people typing in 2 names might be like a lot of work, and that can discourage some people. Okay, so we'll leave it at simple. And then scrolling down here, you can add a description if you want, but then it is not necessary. And down here you can toggle this off. That means it is not compulsory. Okay, you can see the red asterisk is gone. So if you turn this on once again, it's going to come on. That means if the person doesn't fill this particular field here, the person will not be able to submit the form. Okay, now under here we still have another tab. We have the advanced tab. So here you can see the field size is set to medium. You can make it small or large. If you try large, you can see how long that is, and you can make it small. And since it is just for one name, I'll leave it at small. Then we have the placeholder text. Okay, the placeholder here, you can put something that will appear here. So I can decide to say your name here, and you see that it now comes here in the placeholder text. All right, if you go down a bit, you see the CSS classes, and that is not for this tutorial. And further down you will see height label. So if I toggle this on, I'm going to turn this one off, so only this placeholder text will be there. Okay, so instead of having the label and the placeholder text, you can just have one of them, and that's what I usually like to do because it makes the form looks very smart. So you turn on, instead of having something like this email, you are just going to have email in the placeholder if you turn this on. So let's move to the smart logic. All right, that's a pro feature. That means this is the most customization we can do for this. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is the email. For the email, we can apply the same set of features. You can call this email address. You can call this email address, and you can see the label changes to email address. All right, for the description, you can choose to add it, but I don't usually add it. But let's just see what it looks like. You can say this is your email address. So for the description, you can choose to add it, but most of the times I don't add it because it's going to make everything to start clustering everywhere. But let's just see what it will look like if you want to add something here. So you can see where it's appearing, but that doesn't look good at all. So I'll just take this out. Okay, going further down, you can see the required. You can also toggle it off so that this asterisk will go away, but email is really important, so you just have to leave it there. Then this one says enable email confirmation. If you select that, you can see that another field comes up so that the person will also put the email the second time to make sure that the email is correct, because if one of them is not correct, then it will not go through, the form will not submit. Okay, so also, like I said before, this will look like a lot of work to some people, so just turn this off, and then we'll go over to the advanced tab. Here we can still do the same thing, make it medium, large, or small. If you do small, you can see how it's going to look like. You can leave it at medium and it will be like that. Okay, so you can still do the same thing for the placeholder text. You can say your email address here, and if you had activated that confirmation field, this is where you are going to put in the text for the confirmation email placeholder. But since we turned it off, we are not going to put anything here. You are going to scroll down to where we have height label. You are going to activate that, and you can see the email address label will be hidden. So you just have the name here and your email address here. Okay guys, let's quickly do others. I'll click on numbers, and here you can also change this if you want. That is this label. You can add a description if you want. You can make it a required field if you want. All right, if you turn it on, it's going to be a required field. And then you come to the advanced tab. You can make it medium, large, small. You can scroll down and you can hide the label. So here I'm just going to put in the placeholder to say your phone number here. Next, we are going to move over to the drop down. So I'll simply come to the drop down and click here. So this is how it works. This is the label. You can change this. You can allow it to be there depending on your choice. This is your first choice. So you can see it says here first choice. Okay, you can change it. Let's say you want to use this for different services that you want people to choose. You can say this is web design. Then the second one can be email marketing. Then you can do the third one. can be pay per click, and then you can add another one. In case this is not enough, you can simply come here and click to add another one. So you can add something else here. You can add training. Okay, so this 4 is enough. You scroll down, you can make this a required field to make sure that people will select it before they can submit the form, or you can still make it not required, but I'll leave it as required for the purpose of this tutorial. And then we'll move over to the field option, and then we'll move over to the advanced. So for this one, it has here multiple options selection. So if you turn this on, that means this is how it's going to appear. The person will just come here and select anyone he wants. So if you turn this off, that means it's going to appear as a drop down. You can see the difference. This one, the person has to click on the drop down, while if you toggle this on, everything will just show this one. The person will just select one, and then that should be it. So let's toggle this off. This is the style. It says whether you want it to be classic or you want it to be modern. Anyone you choose, it's your own choice. Then you have the field size, whether you want it to be medium, small, big. I'll leave it medium. Placeholder text, I'm going to put here choose your service. Alright, so you can see here the placeholder text has come on, and I'll simply come here and hide the label. So this is what is going to show here, choose your service. Okay, so that the person can simply click on the drop down button and select anyone that he or she wants. So that's it for this drop down. And the same thing goes for checkboxes. You can fill in the options that you want. Okay, you can do here digital marketing, and you can see that it changes to digital marketing. When you are done, you can make it required here. You can make it required. Remember, you can also add a different field here in case you want more field. Okay, this can be web design once again, just for these tutorial purposes. Okay, and then you move over to advanced, and then this says randomize choices. So you click this, the choices are going to be in random. So if you turn this on, that means the choices will not always appear in this order. Okay, they can appear in any order so that the person can choose anyhow the person wants. All right, so the next option is whether you want it 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns. Let's just do 2 columns so that you see how it appears. Then choice limit, you can choose this to 1 or 2. That means the person can select 2 options at a time, okay, and not just one. So if you set it to 3, that means the person can select 3 options at a time. So let's leave this at 2, and then we'll scroll down to hide label. Right, what we are going to do here now is we are going to turn this off, and then we are going to go back to general and give this a name. All right, you can also say choose our service. So with that, the person can choose anyone, and we are done with this. So we move on to the next one, multiple choice. The same thing applies. You can change the label name here. You can add more here. You can use image choices. For that, you are going to upload your first image, second image, third image, and fourth image. So I'm going to turn this off. You can use your icon, but for this one, it says in order to use the icon choices feature, an icon library must be downloaded and installed. It is quick and easy, so you can go ahead and download this icon here, but I'm not going to do that for this tutorial. I'm just going to move down to where we have required. You can turn this on to make it compulsory. Quickly, we go to the advanced tab, and then here you can set it to 1 or 2 or 3 columns depending on how you want it. You can make it inline, and you can see how the inline is. You can randomize your choices here. You can scroll down and you can hide label, but we will not hide the label for now. The next thing is the single line text. You can also use this for your name. So let's say you wanted to use this for your name, you can simply put your name here, and then the description, you can make it required if you want. Go to advanced. From advanced, you can set this to what you want. We leave it at medium. Placeholder text, you put your name. All right, so you can see how these things are coming on. This can also suffice for the name, like this one here. You can also save that same purpose. So when we scroll down, you can hide the label, and then it will just be like any other one. Okay, the paragraph text is the field for your visitors to give you the details of why they are filling the form. Let's say they want to send you an email. This is where they're going to put in all the message that they have. All right. So what you want to do here is to say your message here. Okay, you can say your message here, or you can also say whatever you want to say that will make them understand. Simply copy this. Right, you can make this required, and then you can go to advanced placeholder text. I'll paste that. You can make it large, small, medium. I'll leave it at, okay, this is medium, so I'll make this small. You can make this whatever you want. You can make it small, medium, large. I'll leave it at medium. This is your placeholder text. I've already done that. You can limit the length so that you don't want them to write too many. All right, so you can choose the character, whether you want to limit the characters or you want to limit the words. So if you choose the words, you can say you don't want more than 800 words or more than 300 words, so that if they exceed that, it's going to tell them that they've exceeded the maximum length. You can do this, you can leave this, then we'll scroll down to where we have hide label. You can hide the label and leave it like this. The last one is the number slider, so I'm going to click on this. If you come to label, you're going to give it a title. You can say here, rate our services, and then scrolling down, this is the minimum value. That means it will start from 0. You can set this to 5 or any other number you want. You can set a default value. Let's say you leave this at 1. That means the slider is going to start at 1, but for best result, you leave it at 0. And then for the increment, you leave it at 1. That means that the sliding is going to increase by 1. So it will be from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 5, and that way. So we quickly go to advanced. Under advanced, this is the medium. This is the value display. If you point to this, it says display the currently selected value below the slider. So we'll quickly head over to the advanced. When you click on advanced here, you can change this to medium, small, large, and then you can hide the label here if you want, but I'll leave it there so that they'll know what all this is for. Okay guys, the last thing I want to show you on this section is how to get your visitors consent. This is very important, that they have to give you their consent before you can start sending them emails. So what I usually do is to use this one. Okay, let me just scroll over to this one. This is what I use, checkboxes. So let's scroll down. I'll bring checkboxes down once again. All right, so here under customization, the label, I'm going to write here, I agree to the terms and conditions. So that's what I'm going to put in the label. And then I'm going to close these two so that this will just be one here. I'll then go ahead and copy this. I'll copy this and paste it here. Okay, so the same thing goes there. And then I'll go to the advanced. Under advanced, I'll come to this down that says enable disclaimer. I'll toggle this on. So this is where you are going to have the disclaimer text. Okay, after turning this on, I'll simply go back to my general tab, and then this is where you are going to paste your terms and conditions. Okay, now let me just look for a random text. So I'll come over to this website. Let's say this is my terms and conditions. I'll just copy this. I'll head back here, and then I'll paste it. All right, so the person will know your terms and conditions, and will click on this before submitting the form. All right, then the next thing I'm going to do is to turn on this required to make sure that this is compulsory. Let me head back to advanced and turn this off. Okay, so that's it. This is how it's going to look like when you are done. Or alternatively, I can come back here and just write in here terms and conditions. All right, so that's simple. Now this is the terms and conditions. The person is going to agree, is going to read this, and then is going to submit the form. All right guys, so we are done with this. Let's go over to the settings. I'll click on settings, and settings will go to general. That's the first one. So we begin with this. This is the form name. We already said that before. The form description, you can put this is for you to help identify the form as well. And then we have the tags. This is not really important. You can come down to where we have submit, so you can change this. If you don't want it to be submit, you can do send message, or any other thing that you want the button to display. Okay, so you can write it there. And then this says submit button processing text. So while it is submitting, what it should say sending, or it should say processing, anything you want to write here, as long as your visitors will understand. So let's just change this to processing your request. All right, so while the person is waiting to see the notification if the form has submitted or not, is going to show processing your request. All right, the next thing here is advanced. Let's click on that. Okay, so that's that for the general. We'll go to the next one, which is notifications, and then here send email to address. Now this is a short code that is going to send to the admin email of your website, but in case you want to use a Gmail, you can completely take this out and put in your Gmail. I can put in. All right, so if this stays here, this is exactly where I'm going to receive the input of this form. And then the next one is the subject line. All right, let's say you have several forms on your website, so you need to identify them so that when you see, you know it's coming from this one. So we'll call this homepage contact. You can call it anything that will help you know where this form is being filled or where the form is located. You can say here new subscriber. All right, so you can leave every other thing the way it is. Let's scroll down, come to email templates. Don't bother yourself with that and all of this. Okay, so we are all set. The next thing is confirmation. Now this is where you have your confirmation message. It says here confirmation type. All right, this place is really important. Okay, so when your visitor clicks on the submit button, and then the message the person is going to see when the form submission is successful, this is the message. So you can leave it at message, and then you are going to type in the message the person is going to see here. Thanks for contacting us, we will be in touch with you shortly. Or you can change this to anything you want. You can say our customer care will contact you in 24 hours. All right, so that is the message the person will receive. All right, but you can also do something else. You can come here and then you can put this, go to URL, and it's going to redirect the person to a thank you page. So let me quickly get a page on my website. This is the URL of my website that I want it to redirect to. Okay, let's say that is our thank you page. You have built the page. It is to thank the person for subscribing or for taking this particular action. So you can come here and paste in the link. So when you are done with this, you can simply come here and click on save. And when you have saved, that means you are done with everything you wanted to do with that particular form. So you can preview the form here. You can click on this to preview the form. So this is what the form is going to look like. Your name, your email address, your phone number, choose our service. Here you can do the drop down, and these are the things we filled in. All right, so you can now choose the service. You can choose this one and this one. Remember, we selected two. If you try to choose the third one, it now says you have exceeded the number of allowed selections. Okay, so you can only choose that. You can come to multiple choice. You select, can only select one. All right, and then this is the name we also did. Then you can type in your message here, and then you can rate our services here. Just select the slider. You can see how it's going on, increasing by 1. So we have a 5-star. That's a pretty good job we have done. And then I will agree and send the message. All right, so what we are going to do here is to close this. I'll just click on this close, and here we are. We have this is the contact form we've just created, and here you can see the short code. Okay, so I'll simply copy this short code, and then I'll head over to my pages. That's where I want to place this. So on this page, I want to add our short code. I'll click on this add. I'll do a short code here. This is the short code, and I'll come here and I'll paste our shortcode and I will update. Alright, so this is our home page. I've pasted the shortcode. It says view page here. I can also come here to view the page. So let me use this one. And this is our home page, and this is the form that we just filled. So guys, this tutorial has stretched beyond what I anticipated, so I'm just going to do the second one, which is made form, in another tutorial, because it's not good for tutorials to be too long so that it will not get boring. Alright guys, so if you have gotten any kind of value in this tutorial, just go ahead and subscribe. Also like this video, share it to other people that you know might like this kind of video, and then leave a comment for us. Comment there, thank you, or I like this tutorial, or you can say do a tutorial on this so that it can help me in my business journey. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.